Space was silent, endless, cold, empty. For years, humanity believed they were alone. Their ships moved between planets, their satellites watched the dark sky, and their scientists waited for a sign. But nothing came. Until one night, everything changed. High above Earth, inside the command center of Humanity Prime, alarms began to ring. A red light flashed across the screens. Officers froze. Every sensor showed the same reading. A massive unknown object was entering the solar system. No one knew what it was. No one knew who sent it. But one thing was clear. It was not human. Commander Rion stood in the center of the room. His eyes were fixed on the hologram, a huge dark shape moving through space. It was slow, silent, and bigger than anything humans had ever seen. Distance? He asked. 2 million kilometers, closing fast, an officer replied. For a moment no one spoke. Everyone could feel the tension. Every second felt heavy. Across the world, governments activated emergency protocols. Civilians were told it was a system test. But the truth was far more terrifying. Humanity was facing its first contact. And it did not look peaceful. The object soon came close enough for cameras to see. The image shocked everyone. It was not one ship. It was a fleet. Dozens of alien vessels were moving in formation, silent, cold, covered in strange glowing symbols. They looked like giant knives cutting through the darkness. A message suddenly appeared on all human communication channels. Not sound. Not voice. Just a symbol. A burning red circle. Commander Rion stared at it. What does it mean? No one knew. But every officer felt the same fear rising inside them. Humanity had no fleet strong enough to fight this. Their ships were fast but small. Their weapons were strong but limited. Compared to the size of the alien fleet, humans looked weak. But Humanity Prime had one secret. A secret they had kept hidden for 12 years. A project known by only a few. A ship built for the moment when humanity would stand face to face with the unknown. A ship powerful enough to challenge the darkness. The Ares-class warship. Rion turned to the Council screen. We must reveal the Ares. The Council hesitated. The Ares was humanity's last hope, their strongest weapon, their most dangerous creation. It was never meant to launch first, but there was no time now. Do it, the Council finally ordered. Deep under the surface of Mars, inside a secret hangar, giant metal doors began to open. Dust and smoke burst outward as engines came alive. Engines so powerful the ground shook. The hangar lights revealed a massive dark shape. Sure. Heavy. Silent. The Ares-class warship. Its armor glowed with blue lines. Its engines were like suns trapped in metal. Its cannons were capable of destroying a moon. Every part of the ship was built for one purpose. To protect humanity at any cost. As the launch alarms echoed, thousands of workers stepped back, watching in awe. Some whispered prayers. Some stood frozen. Some cried. Because they knew. If the Ares failed, humanity would fall. The Ares slowly rose into the air, its blue thrusters lighting the entire hangar. Dust swirled. The metal walls trembled. The ship moved like a giant waking from a long sleep. On every human screen across Earth and the colonies, a message appeared. Humanity Prime activates Ares-class warship. People stopped what they were doing. Crowds gathered. Silence spread across cities. For the first time, the entire species looked up at the sky together. The Ares broke through the atmosphere, flames trailing behind it. Clouds split. Light flashed. The alien fleet detected it. They slowed. They changed formation. They watched. For the first time since entering the solar system, they hesitated. Humanity's secret weapon was now in the open. It was the largest human-made ship ever created. And it was heading straight toward the alien fleet. Silence filled the stars. Every human heart beat faster. Every alien eye watched closely. This was the moment the universe would remember. The moment when humanity stopped running and prepared to fight. The Ares-class warship was revealed. And the stars went quiet. The Ares-class warship moved through space like a dark giant. Its engines burned bright blue, leaving a long trail behind it. Every human heart on Earth, Mars, Luna, and all colonies was focused on one thing. What will happen when the Ares meets the alien fleet? Inside the command center of Humanity Prime, everyone watched the big hologram screen. The alien fleet was still moving, still silent, still unknown. Their glowing symbols looked like fire burning in the darkness. Commander Rion stood straight, hands behind his back. His voice was calm, but inside he could feel the pressure. Billions of lives depended on one ship. One decision. An officer turned toward him. Sir, The Ares is entering the alien range. Rian nodded. Put the Ares pilot on screen. The screen flickered and a face appeared. Captain Lyra Hale, the first commander of the Ares. She was known across the colonies as a fearless strategist. Her calm eyes never showed fear even now. The Ares is ready, she said. Her voice was steady, strong. We will defend humanity. Her crew moved in the background. Pilots checked controls. Engineers confirmed shield power. Weapon officers ran final tests. Everyone was ready. And yet, everyone was scared. The alien fleet began to shift. Their formations changed shape, moving like one giant creature. Their ships glowed brighter. The symbols on their hulls pulsed in strange rhythms. But still they sent no message. No greeting. No warning. It was like they were judging humanity, studying them, testing their reaction. Captain Lyra watched them through the viewing screen. They are scanning us, she said. How strong is the scan? Rian asked from the command center. Very strong, Lyra replied. Too strong. It feels like they are looking inside the ship. Everyone felt a chill. What do they want? Someone whispered. No one had an answer. Suddenly the alien ships stopped moving. All of them. At the same time. Like someone pressed pause on the entire fleet. A powerful beam of red light shot out from the largest alien vessel. It did not hit the Ares. Instead, it drew a massive symbol into the empty space between them. A burning circle. The same symbol they sent earlier. What does it mean? Rian asked. A scientist quickly analyzed the symbol. Sir, it looks like a test marker. A test. Rian's eyes narrowed. They're testing us? Yes, the scientist replied. They want to know what the Ares can do. Inside the Ares, Lyra watched the red circle. She understood immediately. They want us to make the first move, she said quietly. Her second-in-command, Officer Juno, looked worried. If we attack, it could start a war. Lyra nodded. But if we don't, they will think we are weak. Silence filled the bridge. Lyra finally gave the order. Prepare defensive mode only. No attack. But power up all shields. The Ares began to glow as its Titan shields activated. Blue energy waves formed around the ship, creating a shimmering barrier. When the alien fleet saw the shield activate, something changed. For the first time, they responded. A deep vibration shook the Ares. Not a sound in air, space has no sound, but a strange energy pulse. The alien fleet was talking. Lyra listened. The pulse was not random. It had rhythm, pattern, purpose. Commander, she said, I think this is a language. Humanity Prime's linguists worked quickly, decoding the pattern. After a few minutes, they translated the alien message. The message made every person go silent. We are the Zalvor Dominion. You are not worthy of this galaxy. Prove your strength, or be erased. Officer Juno's face turned pale. They want to erase us? Rian clenched his fists. They want a trial. Lyra took a deep breath. Then we give them a response. Before she could speak again, one alien ship suddenly moved forward. It was smaller than the others but still huge. It opened its front hull, revealing a glowing sphere inside. Everyone watching knew what that meant. A weapon. A massive one. Lyra shouted, shields to maximum. The alien sphere charged. Space around it began to distort. It looked like a small star preparing to explode. Then, boom. A beam of pure red energy shot toward the Ares. The entire solar system felt the shock. The beam hit the Ares' shield with the force of a collapsing mountain. The shield rippled. Lights flickered. The crew stumbled as the entire ship shook. On Earth, people screamed. On Mars, crowds fell silent. Across the colonies, screens shook from the impact. But the Ares did not break. Its Titan shield held strong. The beam faded. Smoke drifted around the shield. Energy sparks burst into space. Lyra's voice echoed through the bridge, calm and proud. The Ares is still standing. The alien fleet paused. They had expected the Ares to be destroyed. Instead, humanity survived. Rian punched the air. Yes. But everyone knew the truth. This was only the first test. The first strike. The first warning. And the alien fleet had thousands more weapons. Lyra looked at the dark horizon of space, where the alien ships waited like predators. This is not a welcome, she whispered. This is a challenge. The Ares floated silently, its blue shield glowing like a beacon. Billions watched with fear and hope. For the first time in history, humanity had stood against an alien attack. And survived. But the real war had not started yet. It was coming. And the stars knew it. The Ares-class warship floated in the silent dark after surviving the alien attack. The blue Titan shield glowed like a second sun around the massive ship. But inside, the crew knew this was not victory. It was only the beginning. Captain Lyra stood in front of the viewing screen, watching the alien fleet reorganize. Their ships moved like a living organism, smooth, perfect, deadly. Every movement looked planned. Every formation looked like a trap. Officer Juno approached her. "Captain, we survived their first attack. But they are not stopping." Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, they are preparing for the next phase." The hologram flickered as Humanity Prime connected to the Ares. Commander Rion's face appeared, serious and tense. "Captain," he said, "the aliens clearly want something. This is not a normal invasion. They are testing us." Lyra agreed. "Yes, they want to judge if humanity is strong enough to live. And if we fail," Rion added, "we die." Every officer felt a cold fear at those words. Billions of lives depended on what happened in the next few hours. Suddenly, a pulse of red energy spread across space again. The same alien signal. But this time the rhythm was different, faster, stronger, more aggressive. The translation team worked quickly, decoding it word by word. A voice finally echoed inside the Ares bridge. "Trial 1, Endurance." Juno stepped forward. "What does that mean?" Another line appeared. "Survive for 10 minutes." Everyone stared in silence. 10 minutes? It sounded simple, but nothing about this alien fleet was simple. Lyra gave the order immediately. "Battle stations. Charge shields. Prepare evasive maneuvers." The Ares crew ran to their positions. Lights turned red. The warship's engines hummed louder. Weapons warmed, ready to fire, but Lyra kept them locked. They could not start the fight. Not yet. Not until the trial allowed it. Outside, 5 alien ships broke from the fleet. Their hulls shifted like liquid metal. Strange glowing lines grew across them. Each ship opened weapon ports, revealing red cores. "They are charging for synchronized fire," Juno said. Lyra gripped the command rail. "Shields at maximum. Prepare impact." The alien ships moved in a perfect circle around the Ares. Then, boom. 5 beams of red energy fired at the exact same time. The Ares shield cracked from every direction. The entire ship shook violently. "Shield integrity at 84%, an officer shouted. Space lit up with burning red light. The alien ships changed formation and fired again. Boom. The Ares jolted. Consoles sparked. Crew fell to the floor. "Shields at 67%. Captain, we cannot take many hits like this." "Stay focused," Lyra said. "Rotate the shield energy. Spread the impact." The engineering team worked quickly, rerouting power, spreading energy layers. The shield glow changed from blue to a deeper, stronger shade. 5 more beams fired. This time the Ares held, but the pressure was incredible. Humanity Prime watched from across the solar system. Billions held their breath. Every hit felt like a hammer smashing against the future of humanity. "Time remaining?" Lyra asked. 8 minutes, Juno said. "Captain, we are not going to make it if they keep increasing power." As if the aliens heard her, the 5 ships began to split into smaller pieces, each piece glowing red. They were transforming. In seconds, each alien ship turned into a swarm of smaller attack drones. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. "They copied themselves?" someone whispered. "No," Lyra replied quietly. "They multiplied." The swarm rushed forward. Red dots filled the radar. Space turned into a storm of glowing fire. The Ares shook as the drones fired rapid laser shots from every direction. Shields at 48%, 42%, 39%. The entire crew panicked. Juno shouted, "Captain, with this pressure, we will not last 10 minutes." Lyra stayed calm. "Charge the ion wave." Everyone turned. "The ion wave? Captain, that will knock out all our systems for 20 seconds. "Yes," Lyra said. "But it will hit everything in a radius of 50 kilometers." She stared at the giant red swarm approaching like a burning tidal wave. "And that swarm is less than 20 kilometers away." Juno understood. "If we don't use it, they'll destroy us." "Exactly." Lyra raised her voice. "All power to ion wave. Prepare for system blackout." The engineering team rerouted energy. Lights began to dim. The blue shield flickered. Humanity Prime watched in confusion. "Why are the Ares shields dropping?" someone asked. Rion realized the reason, and his eyes widened. "They're preparing a counterattack." Inside the Ares, the hum of the ion wave grew louder. The walls shook. The ship's core glowed white. The swarm closed in. 10 kilometers. 3. Fire the wave. Lyra commanded. A blinding sphere of white-blue energy exploded outward. It spread across space like a silent shockwave. The alien swarm was instantly hit. Their red lights flickered. Their flight patterns broke. Drones spun out of control. In seconds, the entire swarm shut down. Dead. Floating like metal dust. But the Ares also went dark. Lights off. Engines silent. Shields gone. Complete blackout. Juno shouted, "We're blind. We have no control." But Lyra was calm. Activate reboot mode. Fast recovery. The Ares slowly powered back up, one system at a time. Lights flickered. Shields returned to 12%. Engines restarted. The crew cheered. "We survived the wave," an officer said. Juno checked the timer. "Captain, we survived 9 minutes. 1 minute remained." Suddenly, the largest alien ship, the command vessel, moved forward. Its hull opened, revealing a massive cannon. Rion saw it from Humanity Prime and shouted into the comm. "Lyra, that weapon is strong enough to erase the Ares." Lyra stood tall. Shields at full focus. Forward angle. The cannon charged. Red energy swirled like a sun about to explode. Lyra whispered, "Hold." The beam fired. It hit the shield like a star collapsing. The bridge shook violently. Panels broke. Sparks flew everywhere. Shields. 9%. 5%. 3%. And then, the timer hit 0. A deep pulse filled space. The alien ship stopped firing. The trial was over. A message appeared. Endurance, passed. The Ares crew collapsed in relief. Lyra took a slow breath. But then a second line appeared. Trial 2, strength. Prepare. The next challenge was coming. And it would be far worse. The Ares-class warship floated weakly after the brutal first trial. Its shields were cracked. Its engines were still stabilizing. Many lights on the bridge were blinking red. Smoke drifted from damaged panels. But the crew had survived. Inside the bridge, Captain Lyra Hale stood with calm determination. Her uniform was dusty, her hair slightly out of place after the violent shaking, but her eyes were steady. Officer Juno wiped soot from her hands. "Captain, we barely survived Trial 1. Lyra nodded. "Yes. And Trial 2 will not be the same. It will be worse." The hologram screen suddenly lit up again, bright red symbols flashing across the black void. The alien message pulsed like a heartbeat. Humanity Prime started decoding immediately. Commander Rion leaned forward, waiting. The message appeared translated. "Trial 2, strength. You may attack. Show us your power." Juno stared in shock. "They want us to attack them?" Lyra's voice was calm. "Yes. They want to see how strong humanity truly is." Another line blinked onto the screen. "Destroy the chosen target within 5 minutes." A hologram projection of the chosen target appeared. It was an alien ship, but not a small one. A massive armored war cruiser nearly the size of the Ares. Juno's eyes widened. "Captain, that thing is huge." "It is," Lyra replied. "And it looks heavily shielded." The alien cruiser moved forward alone, separating from the fleet. Its hull glowed with red lines like burning veins. It was a monster built for war. Lyra turned to her crew. "Weapons online. All battle stations active." Humanity Prime watched from the command center. Billions waited breathlessly. This time, humanity had to strike first. The Ares charged its weapons. Cannons rotated. Missile bays opened. Railguns locked onto the target. "Target locked," Juno said. "Ready to fire at your command." Before giving the order, Lyra looked once more at the massive alien cruiser. If they failed, humanity would fail. If they succeeded, they would earn respect. "Fire," Lyra ordered. The Ares shook as its primary plasma cannons fired bright blue streams of energy. 2 massive beams cut across space toward the alien cruiser like burning spears. A second later, railguns released a storm of hypervelocity rounds. Missiles followed, leaving trails of white smoke in space. The entire dark sky lit up. The alien cruiser reacted instantly. A red shield activated around it. The plasma beams splashed against the shield with a loud vibration. Railgun rounds shattered. Missiles exploded before reaching the hull. The enemy shield was strong, extremely strong. "Shield damage?" Lyra asked. Juno's eyes went wide. "Captain, we barely scratched it. Maybe 1% damage." 1%? The crew exchanged worried looks. Lyra stayed calm. Continue firing. More plasma shots. More railgun rounds. More missiles. Nothing. The alien cruiser didn't even move. It simply floated there, absorbing every human strike like nothing mattered. Juno spoke softly, "This is a trap. They want to see if we panic." Lyra nodded. "Yes. They want to see if we think, or if we act like animals." She looked at the tactical display again. Something was strange. The alien cruiser was not dodging. Not rotating. Not adjusting shields. It was letting them attack. Almost as if daring them. Lyra suddenly realized something. "We are not supposed to overpower it," she whispered. "We are supposed to outsmart it." Juno looked confused. "How?" Lyra pointed to the glowing red veins across the alien hull. "Those lines, they change when its shield takes damage. The shield controller must be behind one of those patterns." Juno leaned closer. "If we find the pattern that reacts differently, we find the weak spot." Lyra smiled. "Exactly." She turned to her crew. "Stop all random attacks. Focus only on scanning shield reactions." The crew worked fast. Every time a small plasma shot hit a section of the red pattern, they recorded the reaction. Then a young officer shouted, "Captain! Spot 17C, its glow becomes brighter, not dimmer." Lyra's eyes lit up. "That is the control node. That is the weak point." Juno nodded. "If we hit it directly with the Nova Lance, it might break their shield." The Nova Lance was the Ares' strongest weapon. But using it was dangerous. It required huge energy. If it failed, the Ares would be left defenseless. Lyra hesitated just for a second. Then she gave the order. "Charge the Nova Lance." The core of the Ares began to hum deeply. A bright white-blue light gathered at the front cannon. The entire ship vibrated. The alien cruiser suddenly reacted. Its red veins pulsed violently. It sensed the threat. It began to move. "Captain. It's preparing its own weapon." On the alien cruiser's surface, a massive cannon began to open. Lyra shouted, "All power to Nova Lance. Fire as soon as it's ready." The alien cannon charged faster. Red energy swirled. 5 minutes were almost over. The test was ending. Lyra clenched her fist. "Come on, charge, charge." Finally. Nova Lance ready. Fire. A massive beam of white-blue light shot from the Ares. It was brighter than any weapon humanity had ever created. At that exact moment, the alien cruiser fired its own beam. A gigantic red energy blast. The two beams raced toward each other. They met in the middle of space. A huge explosion shook the void. A storm of energy spread across the stars. Everyone watched breathlessly. As the light faded, the alien cruiser's shield flickered. The weak point glowed bright, then exploded. The shield shattered like breaking glass. The alien cruiser's hull cracked. Fire burst from its sides. And then, boom. The entire cruiser exploded in a massive fireball. The trial ship was destroyed. Humanity Prime erupted in cheers. Billions screamed in victory. The Ares crew sighed in relief. A new alien message appeared. Strength, passed. But then a final line appeared. Prepare for Trial 3, Command. Only the worthy may rule the stars. Captain Lyra stared into the darkness. The next test would not judge power. Not endurance. It would judge leadership. The hardest test of all. The remains of the destroyed alien cruiser floated in space like burning dust. Smoke and metal fragments drifted slowly into the void. The Ares-class warship stood in the center of it, damaged, tired, but victorious. But the celebration did not last long. A new message appeared in the air, glowing red, pulsing like a heartbeat. Trial 3, Command. Prove your leadership. Prove your wisdom. Prove your will. Inside the Ares bridge, every officer stared at the strange message. No one understood what command meant. Captain Lyra Hale looked at the screen carefully. They tested our endurance. They tested our strength. Now, they want to test our mind. Officer Juno stepped beside her. Captain, this one might be the hardest. The aliens want to see if humans can lead under pressure. Lyra nodded slowly. Yes, they want to see how we make decisions. Before she could finish, the alien fleet began to move. Hundreds of alien ships separated into groups, forming different shapes, triangles, circles, spirals. Their ships moved like living patterns, dancing in complete sync. On Humanity Prime, Commander Rion watched the strange formations. What are they doing now? A scientist replied, Sir. The formations appear to be puzzles. Puzzles? Rion repeated, confused. Yes, shape puzzles. Pattern puzzles. Strategy puzzles. Back in the Ares, the message changed again. Choose correctly. Lead wisely. One wrong command means destruction. Juno felt a chill. Captain, they are testing our orders. If you give a wrong command, the Ares might be destroyed. Lyra stepped toward the viewing screen as the alien ships completed their first formation. A giant triangle made of 12 alien ships appeared. Then the message displayed. Choose the correct ship. 1 is real. 11 are illusions. Lyra understood immediately. This is a decision test. They want me to identify the real ship. How? Juno asked. Lyra studied the ships. Each one looked identical. Red glow, same shape, same size. No movement difference. They want me to observe, Lyra said softly. To think, not panic. She watched the ships closely. One small detail caught her eye, almost invisible. Ship number 7. Its glow was slightly slower than the others. Lyra pointed. That one. Fire a small pulse shot at ship 7. Juno quickly relayed the order. A pulse cannon fired. The energy hit ship 7. It flickered, then the other 11 ships vanished like smoke. Lyra was right. A new message appeared. Correct. Next pattern. Juno sighed in relief. Captain, this is a mind game. A command test. Yes, Lyra said. And the next one will be harder. She was correct. The alien ships moved again, this time forming 2 enormous circles. One circle rotated clockwise. The other rotated counterclockwise. The message flashed. Which circle hides the enemy flag? Juno frowned. Flag? They use flags. Lyra understood the meaning. Not real flags. They are testing symbolic thinking. She watched the circles. Every ship looked identical, but the movement patterns were slightly off. Lyra studied both circles carefully. The first circle rotated smoothly. Too smoothly. The second circle had one ship that slowed for half a second. A tiny delay. There, Lyra said. The second circle. That small delay means it is carrying something important. Juno called the weapons team. Aim at the slow ship in the second circle. A pulse cannon fired. The slow ship exploded, and all the other ships vanished. Another correct answer. But the aliens were not finished. A new message appeared. Final command puzzle. Your ship is surrounded. Choose one escape path. Suddenly, alien ships formed a giant maze around the Ares. Pathways opened and closed. Corridors shifted. Walls moved like a living creature. Juno stepped back, stunned. This is impossible. Lyra stayed calm. No. There is always a path. The maze changed again, closing 2 paths, opening another, closing it quickly. It was like a giant shifting labyrinth. A timer appeared. You have 60 seconds. Lyra watched the paths. Some were wide. Some were narrow. Some looked safe. Some looked like traps. Juno whispered, Captain, which one do we take? Lyra did not answer immediately. She studied the maze. She watched how the walls moved. She tracked which paths closed too quickly. She noticed something. Every safe-looking path closed after 5 seconds. Every dangerous-looking path stayed open longer. They want us to avoid the easy path, Lyra said. Because an easy path is a trap. She pointed at a narrow corridor on the far left, dark and unstable. That one. Juno's eyes widened. Captain, that path is too narrow. If we misjudge, we will crash. Lyra nodded. That is exactly why it is the real path. The way that looks most dangerous is the only one that stays stable. Juno hesitated, then trusted her captain. Ares full thrust. Follow the captain's path. The Ares engines roared. The ship sped into the narrow corridor. Alien walls slammed shut behind them. Just seconds after they passed, the Ares twisted and turned through the dark maze. Every second felt like death was one step away. The walls moved again. The corridor shifted. The opening ahead shrunk. Captain, we're going to collide. Roll the ship. Tilt 32 degrees. The pilot obeyed instantly. The Ares rolled sideways, passing through the shrinking gap with only meters to spare. Humanity Prime watched in shock. She did it, Rion whispered. She really did it. The Ares burst out of the maze and entered open space. The alien fleet stopped moving. The red message reappeared. Command, passed. Silence filled the Ares bridge. Juno exhaled deeply. Captain, you saved us again. But Lyra looked at the new message forming on the screen. Her face went pale. Final trial, domination. Only one can rule the battlefield. Juno whispered, Captain, What does that mean? Lyra stared into the darkness of space. It means the next trial will decide who controls this galaxy. The final test was coming. And this time the aliens would not hold back. The Ares-class warship moved deeper into the dark region of space. Silence surrounded it. No signals. No enemies. No stars. Only the deep black void. Inside the command center, everyone felt the pressure growing. Something was wrong. Something was waiting for them. Commander Rian walked slowly toward the main screen. "Status report," he said calmly. But his calm voice could not hide the fear in the room. Lieutenant Mira checked her hologram again. "Sir, scans show a huge mass in the darkness. Bigger than any ship. Bigger than the enemy fleet." Everyone froze. A huge mass? What kind of mass? Before anyone could answer, the lights flickered. A strange vibration passed through the ship. Like a deep voice, whispering through metal. The ship AI Athena spoke suddenly. "Warning. Unknown gravitational waves detected. They are not natural." Not natural. That meant only one thing. Someone was controlling the gravity. A new threat appears. Then it happened. Out of the darkness, shapes began to appear. Not ships. Not planets. Something different. Gigantic machines, floating like titans in the void. Black, metallic, silent, and covered with glowing red lines. There were 5 of them, each the size of a small moon. The crew gasped. Even the bravest soldiers stepped back from the screen. The enemy fleet earlier was dangerous. But this was something else. These machines were ancient. Powerful. Machines built to destroy entire star systems. Athena spoke again. "Designation identified, Omega Harvesters. Last recorded sighting, 2 million years ago." 2 million years? That meant these machines were older than most civilizations. Commander Rian clenched his fists. What are they doing here? Before anyone could answer, one of the Omega Harvesters turned slowly toward the Ares-class warship. His red lights grew brighter, like an eye opening. Then a massive energy beam formed on its surface. Lieutenant Fei whispered, "Sir, they are charging a weapon." Ares-class shows its power. Rian did not wait. Shields to maximum. Weapons full power. Athena charged the Starlance cannon. The entire warship trembled as energy built up inside. Blue lines ran across the ship's armor. The Starlance cannon, one of humanity's most powerful weapons, awakened. Athena announced, "Cannon charging. 20%, 40%, 60%. But the Omega Harvester fired first. A massive red beam shot across space. Thick, bright, and powerful enough to destroy moons. The crew braced for impact. The beam hit the Ares-class shield. And the ship shook violently. Sparks flew. Screens flickered. People fell to the floor. Lieutenant Mira shouted, "Shield at 47%. We can't take another full hit." But Rian did not panic. "Fire the Starlance," he commanded. The cannon reached full charge. A bright blue beam exploded outward, cutting through the darkness, hitting the Omega Harvester directly in the center. For a moment, the entire void lit up. The massive machine cracked. Its red lights dimmed. Then its armor shattered into thousands of glowing fragments. The crew stared in disbelief. They had done it. They had destroyed something ancient and almost unstoppable. Lieutenant Fei whispered, "Sir, humanity finally has real power." But Rian stayed serious. "There are still 4 more of them. And they are moving toward us." The enemy reacts. The remaining Omega Harvesters began to shift formation, creating a circle around the Ares-class warship. Their glowing red lines grew brighter. Athena spoke with urgency. "Warning. The machines are synchronizing energy. If they fire together, we will not survive." Commander Rian closed his eyes for 1 second. Not to rest, but to think. Then he spoke quietly. "Prepare the vortex drive." Everyone looked at him with shock. "Sir, that is experimental," Mira said. "It could tear the ship apart." Rian nodded. "Or it could save humanity." The crew fell silent. This was the moment. The turning point. Not just of the mission, but of humanity's future. A risky plan. The Omega Harvesters raised their weapons again. The red energy grew so bright it looked like 4 suns in the darkness. Rian walked to the center console. "Athena, begin vortex drive activation." The AI replied, "Activation requires manual override. It is extremely dangerous." He placed his hand on the scanner. "Override accepted. Start the sequence." The ship began to hum. Blue energy spiraled around the hull. The engines glowed brighter than ever before. The crew held on tightly as gravity shifted. Faye shouted, "Sir, they are about to fire." Rian spoke calmly. Hold. Just a few more seconds." The machines fired. 4 massive red beams charged toward the Ares class, powerful enough to erase everything. Athena shouted, "Vortex drive, ready?" Rian yelled, "Now." The ship flashed with blinding blue light and disappeared into a swirling vortex. Just as the enemy beams reached its location, space went silent. The Omega Harvesters missed. Humanity's greatest warship had escaped. But to where? That question remained unanswered. The Ares-class warship shot through the vortex like a comet. Blue light twisted around the hull, pulling the ship across unknown space. The crew held tightly to their seats as the entire ship shook violently. For a moment, it felt like the Ares-class was being torn apart. Metal groaned. Lights flickered. Gravity vanished, then slammed back. Athena's voice echoed through the ship. "Warning, vortex drive unstable. Destination unknown." Then, everything stopped. The ship drifted into quiet space. So, silent. No alarms. No beams. No enemy. Only cold darkness around them. Commander Rian took a deep breath. "Status?" he asked. Lieutenant Mira checked her systems. "Sir, I don't understand. We traveled far, very far. But I can't find our position. We are outside all known star maps." The crew exchanged worried looks. Humanity had many star charts. Thousands of them. But this place wasn't on any of them. A strange new region. The stars around them were unfamiliar. Dimmer, colder, arranged in strange patterns. Lieutenant Faye whispered, "Sir, what if we didn't travel across space? What if we traveled out of it?" No one knew what she meant. Not at first. Then Athena spoke again. Scanning complete. Conclusion: this region is not part of the Milky Way, or any neighboring galaxy. The room became completely silent. They had escaped the Omega Harvesters, but now they were lost in a place no human had ever seen. Commander Rian kept his voice steady. "Let's run a full scan. Something brought us here. And I don't believe it was an accident." As the scan started, the ship's lights dimmed. A strange signal started to appear. A faint pulse. Slow. Rhythmic. Almost like a heartbeat. Faye frowned. "Sir, the signal is old, millions of years old." Mira added, "And it's repeating one message." "What message?" Rian asked. The ship's speakers suddenly played a deep, ancient voice. "Welcome, children of Sol. We have been waiting." The crew froze. Someone knew they were coming. Someone ancient. Someone powerful. An ancient station appears. A massive shadow started to form in front of the Ares class. Not a ship. Not a planet. A colossal structure. A ring larger than Earth's moon. Slowly turned toward them. Its surface glowed with golden symbols. Its inner ring spun with quiet energy. Athena announced, "Object identified. The Ark of Origin. Age, over 5 million years." 5 million years? Older than the Omega Harvesters. Older than most galaxies. Commander Rian whispered. "So, this is the source of the signal." The Ark opened slowly. A path of glowing light appeared, inviting the Ares class to enter. Faye stepped forward. "Sir, are we really going inside?" Rian nodded. "We didn't come this far to turn back." The Ares-class warship moved slowly into the Ark. As soon as it entered, everything changed. The truth of humanity. The light inside the Ark was warm, golden, and gentle. Not threatening. Not hostile. A hologram appeared in the center of the command room. A tall, ancient figure made of pure light. It spoke with a calm, echoing voice. "Welcome, humans. We are the architects. The first civilization of your galaxy." The crew listened in awe. The hologram continued. "We created the first stargates. We built the first machines. And we created guardians to protect life." The crew understood. The Omega Harvesters were not invaders. They were guardians. But something had corrupted them. Rian asked, "Why did they attack us?" The hologram's voice darkened. A virus, ancient and powerful, twisted their purpose. They were meant to protect civilizations. Now they destroy them. The room grew heavy. The hologram continued. "You humans have done what no other young species dared to try. You built the Ares class. A ship strong enough to survive the Harvesters. Strong enough to destroy one." The crew looked proud. But the hologram wasn't finished. "You are now the only ones capable of restoring balance. You are the last hope to stop the corrupted machines. And the last hope to protect your galaxy." Rian stepped forward. What must we do? The hologram raised a glowing hand. Take the Heart of Origin. It can restore the harvesters. But be warned. Using it will put your world in great danger. A small golden crystal floated toward Rian. Warm. Alive. Powerful. He took it carefully. The will of humanity. The hologram spoke its final words. Return to your galaxy. Save it. Or it will fall into eternal silence. The arc began to fade. The golden light dimmed. The Ares-class warship found itself back in space. Alone again. But this time, with a mission greater than anything humanity had ever faced. Commander Rian looked at his crew. Set a course home, he said softly. We're going back. Mira smiled weakly. And when we get back? Rian looked at the glowing crystal in his hand. Then humanity will show the galaxy why the stars turned silent. When the Ares class was revealed, the engines roared. The ship glowed with new light. The journey home began. But the real war, the final battle for the future of the Milky Way, was only beginning, and humanity was ready.